phone?
Well, Just Be Talking is really just about getting together with different people and getting our stories out there about the businesses we have, about some of the nonprofits that we're working on, and also bringing on those guests that can get their stories out and kind of, like I said, pretty much just advertise what we got going on.
And it sounds like you got a lot going on. And by the way, you don't have to look over at me whenever you're talking. Just look over the camera, look over your buddies. I'm actually in a different location. It's going to feel like a completely different location. It's not going to sound like it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and remind me, you said that you were in Bristow. Is that correct?
Yes, sir. Yes,
so,
sir.
So what the hell is going on in Bristow where you guys think you need a podcast?
Well, I moved out there to Bristow because I was trying to fight the corruption in Tulsa, and Tulsa's pretty big, and it was wearing me out, and it takes a lot of money to fight corruption. So I ended up moving out to Bristow, and I got 120 acres out there, and the goal is to make that kind of an Airbnb health retreat situation where you can ride dirt bikes, etc. But then I really wanted to go somewhere where I could attack. I don't mean to use that word attack.
Loosely.
Loosely.
What do you mean attack?
Well, I should have used the word expose. Expose the corruption in a smaller town is going to be a lot easier to bring it to light and get more people on board, and also do something about it because, there's a lot less people to deal with in a smaller town. So that's what I'm up to in Bristow is making sure they have clean water, clean food, making sure that city council members are doing what they're supposed to be doing with people's tax dollars. And if I can show people how we can make a change and expose it in a small town, we can take that to the bigger towns and hopefully start making some difference.
Sounds like an accountability thing, and I like that.
I appreciate that.
Who are these people with you, though? Like, who's this guy named Tiny? That's rather large.
Well, to be honest with you, I was on my way down here and he was hitchhiking, and I was like,
somebody just picked me up.
I'd have picked you up.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. Yeah.
Well, yeah. So anyway, me and Tiny have been friends for a long time. Scott McDaniel, and he's a great guy, and he's got a great business going for himself. And I've been trying to get him over here to help with some of the businesses I have going on because he's a great businessman, and he knows a lot of freaking people. And so he finally come over and joined the team, and he's definitely going to be a partner of ours in some of the businesses we have going.
Yeah, we're ready to roll. Absolutely, man.
So what do you do, Tiny? Like, what does Tiny do in Bristow?
I don't do anything in Bristow. I've been in cannabis now for a few years. We manufacture some fine, delicious products, and we serve obviously the entire state of Oklahoma. We're on all the borders, all the major dispensaries, and Justin reached out to me, and I've been keeping up with him on social media, and we talk, and we go out and have a bite and break bread, and kind of discuss some of the things that we'd like to do and areas we'd like to grow in. And he has a fantastic construction-based company. So that's really where I'm going to be, used primarily is getting out there and helping grow the business, drive interest to the construction, to the roofing side, and support him wherever he needs support. Wherever I can be used, wherever I'm handy, that's where I'm going to go.
So I got Justin over here, and this whole show, this whole podcast is Just Be Talking, and then I have Tiny, and then what did you guys do with the pretty lady in the middle? Like, how's she involved in this thing?
She kind of got conned into coming up here today, and she was not too comfortable with not knowing where we're going or what we're talking about, but
I'm still not that comfortable.
Well,
but she was sold when we told her there was a little fluffy couch.
Yeah, some cameras.
I'm in.
Makeup person. Oh, you mean I get to glamour up? Yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
And then she starts bossing everybody. The moment she starts walking into the studio, she starts bossing people around. Like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to say that.
Yeah,
I'm like, who's in charge here, Justin?
I know. She tried to tell me what I can't talk about.
Oh, yeah.
She said I can't talk about politics.
Not that you would ever try to go off talking about politics,
No
Just
way.
Nothing confrontational, no.
No.
Yeah. He started off with attack, the keyword
Yeah,
attack. We're already off to a good start.
Well, can I make this a little uncomfortable right now? Like,
I was hoping you would.
Well, I just don't even, when we say politics, like, where are we at? Like, I know we're in Oklahoma. But let's just like, where are we at with the politics? Like, are we Trump people? Are we Biden people? Are we, right wing, left wing conspiracy people? Like, where exactly are we in politics when we talk politics?
Yeah, that's a fair question. That's exactly what you were hoping the conversation was going to be about.
I was gonna say, let's start with Summer. Summer, where are we?
I mean, it's nobody's business. I'm just not talking about it. I'm not going there.
That sounds
awesome.
That sounds like a Biden.
That's awesome.
That sounds like a Biden.
He got you.
I'm not falling for that.
She's not going to fall for it.
Nope.
She don't
No
even.
one will ever know.
Yep, she don't even get involved in neither. I don't
No.
think either side.
Hey, Justin, if that microphone's jacking with you, just unscrew it off that thing, or
I kind of like it just
Oh.
hanging out here in front of my face.
I bet you do.
and we have a Trumper over here.
Isn't that easy, Bob?
Yeah.
I think you could hold that thing with two hands.
Yeah, all the Republicans are closet, just a little bit,
As long as it's a walk-in closet.
Yeah, all right, so we have the Trumper and we have the Biden. And I know what you are. You don't even. I mean, I know you're a Trumper. You have to be a Trumper.
I am.
Yeah.
I am. I'm a paranoid Trumper. Yeah. So like it's just hard for me to. It's hard for me to. I kind of keep my wall about halfway up, so it's hard for me to 100% believe in really people.
Yeah.
But I do feel. I do feel that the nation is going to be better off. I feel like the world will be better off having. I mean, look, our options were Trump and that other one. So I mean, yeah, I think we've made the right decision. I think we're trending in the right direction.
Oh, Summer!
Summer
came clean.
She did. She tried. She let the cat out of the bag.
It took 3 minutes.
Yeah, she really contemplated that.
I mean, yeah, I would.
Well, wait a minute. I think.
I don't.
Make sure
I
that
think-
mic's make sure that
I
mic.
think
There you
they're-
go.
Yeah, no.
Go ahead and say it.
She's not-
Say
I
it.
mean, if I was to vote, I would, probably vote for Trump.
Yeah.
Well, I think I got categorized already. Did you automatically just put me in the Trump category?
Well, yeah, I did. I did. Was I wrong?
Yeah, I don't. So I grew up Pentecostal, and my father and the church, they don't really get involved in politics.
Yeah.
And so he never voted, which, when I got older, I was curious.
Mm-hmm.
But I just don't believe in the system enough to
Mm,
vote or
that's
to
strong.
believe in anybody in the system. So that's kind of what 100K Friends was about, was creating our own system where 100K Friends can go out there and help, fight for the clean water, fight for making sure the politicians are not doing corrupt things, and making sure our tax dollars are going where they're going, because right now the system isn't doing that. Now, is Trump coming in here and cleaning up a lot of messes that were created over the last, 16 years of, all the, but if you go back and look at my Facebook, you'll see me talking about how they're corrupting it on purpose and they're going to send us a savior. And I've been saying that for quite a while now.
Create a problem. Send a solution.
Create a problem,
Yeah.
send a solution. And this all comes from me. I manufacture a lot of things in China, and so I deal with a lot of China. And I've noticed that China has already done a lot of the things that we're about to do right now. And Elon Musk, all that. And
China loves Trump.
And China
They have
loves
to.
Elon Musk. They financed Elon Musk. So I'm not going to get too far into this on the first podcast, but
Hey, Justin, can I say
That's
this?
where I'm at.
Can I say this though? I think that's why Trump is so popular. I think your movement with the 100K project, I think it's so popular because I don't think a lot of people are actually Trumpers. I think they're like Tiny. I think they're pissed at the system.
Yep.
And Trump is the
Point
closest
blank.
thing to maybe disrupting the system. And quite frankly, from what I've seen the first 17, 18 days, he's dismantling
Came
the
out
system.
swinging.
And
Yeah.
so guess what the plan is, though? And that this is where it's tricky, because a lot of people just, the plan is to dismantle the system and get rid of the two-party system so there can be a new world order, so there can be a one world government. And they're doing it exactly that right now. They're dismantling the system. They corrupted it so bad.
Get control of your mic.
They corrupted it so bad.
Double grip.
So we would be okay with them dismantling it, and we are.
That's
So-
really
That's an
interesting.
interesting take.
Yeah.
That is.
And if you go back and you read The Great Reset, which a lot of people don't, a lot of people are like, oh, that's just conspiracies. Well, you'll see the Great Reset in their plan. They've been drawing out this plan for a long time. Well, you see in the first part of their plan all the things they've already accomplished. And then if you keep reading, you'll see all the things that it looks like is coming down the pipeline. So anyway, that's just, I've got the opportunity to hang out with, even Governor Stitt, one of his other associates, Sean Copeland, owns Regent Bank here in town.
I know Sean.
Yeah, I got up in their little circle and I seen the corruption they're up to.
Yeah, they're in that's a big circle too.
Yeah, and they were letting me in their circle until I exposed a couple of things they were doing.
Boy.
And so they
didn't like that.
They didn't like that.
They didn't like that. So
come on, man.
So I'm not going to talk. Like I said, the first podcast doesn't have to be about talking about any particular people, but those people, yeah. I wasn't too happy with what I found up there.
So tell me how, as we just be talking, tell me how this translates into small town America, which you guys are, Justin, you specifically seem to be in. Like, how do you localize this concept, and how do you take big time national, international politics and dumb it down to what you're doing in Bristow?
Well, I mean, one simple thing. So let's talk about our health. What is the most important thing in the world to get under wraps right now? It's not the illegals. The media comes through and they talk about this one illegal that raped this person or did this or did that, and everybody just jumps on board with all the illegals are bad. I mean, that's the same thing they did with the police officers. That's the same thing they've done with, the people in Syria. They're all bad. Afghanistan, blow the whole country away. That's not how it is. So, I mean, like I said, I was trying not to get too far into this, but
we're only elbows deep.
Yeah. Let's just. Yeah. We've invested time and money. Let's get dirty.
Well,
I'm just lost.
so the goal, like I said before, with going into the smaller town is because we can actually swing. Our punches are felt a little bit harder in a smaller town because I can boost a post on my page, blast them or whatever it may be, and get the whole town of Bristow seeing that thing almost, know. So that's kind of why I chose to go to a small town. Now, if you want to rephrase that question so I can kind of
Wait, so when you go out in Bristow, do people know you? Like if you go into the Walmart, they're like, "Oh, that's that guy on."
I think
there he is.
I think that is. I think that's coming. That's why I don't want to go to Walmart.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't have anything organic. I know that, but if you were to go in there, they're all like, "There's that."
Yeah, I think I'm starting to get that, but I'm
or
also
people that's like, "Thank you for."
So actually, I ran into. Right. I'm not gonna. These people are anonymous, and I want to keep them that way and protect them. But I did run into a person from Bristow the other day that knows I'm trying to fight the corruption. I'm doing stuff, and he's like, "Oh yeah," and this is an elderly person that I trust. Owns land, farms, whatever. I do trust this guy and what he says. And he said that his buddy, he's like, yeah, they see what I'm doing. My buddy's been watching the police officers go across from Miss Dawson's store and do drugs in their police cars. So I'm starting to get the residents of Bristow. They know I'm fighting for them. They know I'm wanting to clean up their water.
The stuff that they know of all the.
I mean, I think we've all seen such massive. I graduated high school in 2000, and I mean, since back then it was mostly just like beer and weed. I mean, that's what you did on the weekends,
Yep.
And with the integration and the massive influx of a lot of the powder drugs. I mean, Coke's always been, the thing, but it only lasts for 20 minutes, and you have to go back every 20 minutes, sometimes 15. But I mean, with meth and now fentanyl coming in, it has dismantled. A larger city obviously takes blows from that, and you can see the potholes start collecting, like the surface of the moon. But a small town is a different situation altogether. Growing up, I mean, on Friday nights, town was full of people. You had like the cowboys on one corner and the band members on one corner, but everybody kind of integrated. Zebras hang with zebras, so they kind of stuck to their corner. But then at the same time, everybody was driving around, having a good time, smoking a J, drinking some Bud Light. But that slowly started changing with meth and now fentanyl coming in. It's a ghost town on Friday nights now.
Yep.
You go down there and try and just see everybody getting together and having a good time, but they're not.
Yep.
There's still a few people trying. So, I mean, I really believe that 99% of people in large, but let's focus on small towns, would be extremely supportive of someone with an honest effort coming into their town and tackling the people that are doing the wrong thing for the city, siphoning money and sucking money up and using it in the wrong directions. So I mean,
is it that bad? Like, I mean, is it
small towns in general?
Yeah, I mean, because listen, this is a guy that metrosexual. Let's just call it what it is.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we don't see corrupt. I mean, we know there's corruption because we live in a big city. I live in a big city. I mean, I've always heard that small town America is where the peace and the innocence is. Are you suggesting, you three, that that's not the case? Because that makes me sad.
Well, it is sad. I mean, I think yes. I think I would say it varies from town to town, but I mean, and I'm sure there's some that are better than others. But as a general statement, I would say there's not a ton of eyes in small towns, so it's oftentimes easier to get away with.
Figure out where the corruption's at if there's less,
But what kind of corruption are we talking about in Bristow?
Well, I'll tell you what I've found so far. So I found so far that there's one guy in Bristow. His name is Chris, and I ain't going to say his last name, but everybody will probably know who I'm talking about. He owns a convenience store, so I am blasting him out a little bit. But Chris and I, as soon as I moved to Bristow, he's one of the guys that has 1,000 acres down there. His grandpa was in the oil business. He was in the oil business, I guess, a little bit. And I wanted to do some business with him because I knew he was the man in town, and supposedly he's going to be running for mayor soon, etc. So I go to start doing business with this guy, and the whole time he's like, well, why don't we just cut your partners out and let's just do it ourselves? And I kept telling him, that's not how I operate. I grew up Pentecostal, and I still got my morals, and I still like to treat people like they deserve to be treated. So I continued to try to do business with this guy, and he just kept on trying to get me to, cut them out. Well, then I heard that the guy, and this is hearsay, and, I've kind of done my due diligence, and I know it's true, but then I heard he's going behind my back doing some of the things that I introduced to him, which, is part of manufacturing overseas, et cetera, bringing in items to resell, et cetera. So he's going around behind my back doing it. Then we discovered that one of his buddies is sitting on the city council, and he owns a construction company, and they're doing some things that they might be questionable. And then another city council member, this is allegedly on the fentanyl, and allegedly making sure the fentanyl houses don't get busted. There's 2 of them that we know about.
In Bristow?
In Bristow. And the city council member knows about them. And so yesterday when I was having a conversation with one of the city council members in Bristow, and I put it on Facebook, and I was having a conversation with him, and I mentioned to him about the fentanyl houses. He's like, well, don't you think that you should let the police handle that? And I was like, yeah, but the police seem to know about it. And I know that the police know exactly what houses I'm talking about. And they were watching those houses. And I know this from, actually, I can say some of it because this dude kind of deserves it too. There was a guy that I know. Now, I'm not going to mention his name at all, but he got on the stuff. One of my other buddies had to grab his whatever he needed.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Go down to Bristow, go straight to these houses to find this guy, jerk him out of the house. Yeah, anyway, that's not, like I said, I'm trying not to say too much here to give away kind of how I get information or what information I do have.
Well, I'm on a cliffhanger.
But anyway, so we find out that the cops know about the fentanyl house where he was at. The cops knew he was in there. But the cops are watching that house because they don't want the house to get busted or robbed.
Oh, they already knew it was a fentanyl house?
Yeah, so when the city council member yesterday said, oh, well, that shouldn't you talk to the cops about that? Well, as soon as I said, well, I think the cops know about it, but I'm talking to the alphabet agencies, the dude just lost it and told me I shouldn't be threatening him with alphabet agencies, blah, 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 and just started cussing at me. And he's a city council member. Oh. So we got that on film. So hopefully the mayor of Bristow hears this and she fires this guy or gets him off that city council, because nobody with that kind of attitude needs to be sitting on the city council when you've got a guy trying to help them straighten up the water and trying to help them straighten up the corruption. It looks like the city council members would be all for that. And
so JusBTalk'N is really an agent of change. That's what you're trying to create.
Well, I don't want JusBTalk'N to get narrowed down to just a niche. I want JusBTalk'N to be more, and yeah, we'll use Joe Rogan. I'm trying to be Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
But
Bristow's own Joe Rogan.
Well, JusBTalk'N really needs to be about just whatever
Yeah,
you know,
gotcha.
talking about whatever that day. You know, that's what
Yeah.
I really want it to be about,
Yeah.
and not just every time you come to Just Be Talking, it's going to be we're going to
Yeah.
be talking about
Bristow.
Yeah.
Bristol
Yeah.
or politics.
We get
Right,
2
right.
podcasts in, and then what?
Yeah.
You know?
right. Town's too small for that.
Everybody's exposed. Now what?
Yeah. And you're an asshole, by the way. And everybody hates you, and you have to do DoorDash now.
Yeah, we don't want that. So I'm trying to be as aggressive as I need to be to get things done, but I'm also trying to be not sinking any ships that we've got, you know, going right now. And so let's talk about mine and Tiny's relationship a little bit more. Tiny has been a good friend of mine for a long, long, long time, and of course, everybody feels safer when Tiny's around.
I did. The moment he walked in the podcast, I
That's
was
very
like,
sweet.
yeah, I was like, my goodness.
And I think I'm tough. I work out. I hit the bag. But I also feel safer when Tiny's around. But also, I don't want Tiny thinking that he's around because I feel safer, because he is my friend. And I think a lot of people do that to Tiny, is they want him around because they feel safer. But Tiny adds a lot of value to what we have
I
going
have a
on.
natural protector instinct. So
You'd be like, but you're the nicest guy ever.
exactly.
You really are.
No, that's nice of you. I appreciate that.
And he also, just not to get on this, but he also, let's just say, he can talk the talk and he can walk the walk. And I have a lot of friends that want to talk with me, and they don't want to walk anywhere with me, and they couldn't, and they couldn't walk anywhere
You're
with me.
very well respected, I feel like, from a lot of people.
Oh, stop it.
I swear.
Yeah, make
I
sure that
appreciate
microphone.
it. I swear.
There you go.
No,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, he is. And so,
Yeah.
back to the relationship that we have. I have to be very careful now that I brought Tiny on board, because I was aggressive and I was, you know, really getting some stuff out there. And so now I'm going to reel it back to the point where he feels comfortable, and I'm not putting in jeopardy anything that we have going on. And that's one thing that, you know,
my side of this whole thing is helping grow the business, you know, and the potential there is incredible. He has big things going on. So, I mean, for me, it's literally that simple. Grow the business, have a clean reputation with the company, and just get things done. Just go to work, you know. So, at the same time, doing good deeds for people in towns that need them, which is everyone. I mean, my family lives in a small town. I'm sure a lot of people, you know, are from a small town or know people in a small town that they care about. So, I mean, that's it. I mean, to me, it's a very simple concept. Let's go to work. Let's clean things up and have a good time doing it. I mean, so now, you know, now we're on this gigantic couch and we're able to
get the message across.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, so what is the business? Like give me a 10,000-foot view of the business.
You want to jump on that, Justin?
Well, I'll jump on it for a second because I probably know, you know.
A lot more than me.
Well,
yeah.
no, I wouldn't say.
First the
I wouldn't say I
compliment,
know
and
a
now
lot
the
more. No, I wouldn't say a lot more. I've been over here a little bit longer.
Businesses.
Well, businesses,
I thought
yeah. So Summer over here, she's going to be helping with the office managing part of our business, and also some of the sales side and some of the video making, and etc. Tiny has came in and building the business. I mean, but Tiny has came in to actually kind of be the face of the business, while I kind of more move towards the 100K friends and making sure that I'm the face of that, and also getting the construction work done. But to answer your question, what is the business? We own a construction business. We also sell construction supplies, which is a separate business. And we also have a fitness equipment company where we manufacture and sell fitness equipment. So we have several things going on. We have another business that we're kind of launching right now, that we will be selling and renting out heavy equipment like skid steers, excavators, you know, bulldozers, all kinds of heavy equipment. So we'll be renting that out, selling it, dumpsters, you know, whatever in the construction realm. Yep. So, I mean, Tiny's going to be a huge part of this for more than one reason. One, he's very well connected and knows a lot of people. Two, he's a very likable guy, very good at networking. Three, he knows how to build a business, and that's why we brought him on. And like I said, I've been asking him for probably, I would say, a few years
Yeah,
at
several.
least.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and he's been so busy building his own, but he finally was like, I see what
Have
you're
you
doing.
known him longer than you've known me?
Way.
Really?
I mean, like way, way
I feel like I
longer.
met you
Well, I've
right
known-
out of hhy school.
No, you can very likely.
Somebody's jealous.
I think
I mean, I have
think I
known
met
you.
y'all about the same time.
How old were you?
How old am I?
When you met him, were you like
Oh, that's
19?
It was 20-something years ago, or 20.
20-something years ago, so I was, younger.
I was like,
What a great answer.
It's half of
yeah,
what
I
I
was
am.
like 19
What a great
when I met
answer.
you. Like 19?
Yeah, so we've known each other about the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine would have been more like 23.
Oh, okay, so I beat you.
Yeah, but I
So
think
yeah, you're winning.
I'm kidding.
no, but I think you're about
I'm
3
just
years
kidding,
older
but
than her.
We all have known.
Yeah,
I think you are.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple decades. Yeah, ish.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
What did you just say?
Well, it's about the same.
Couple decades ish. Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know who
Yeah.
you were talking about.
So yeah, let's talk about well, I had a little list over here that I was wanting to talk about, but let's talk about the 50 friends and kind of what I guess if you guys have any questions about the 50 friends,
Well, I
otherwise
get
I'm just kind of
confused on
rambling.
50 friends from 100.
Okay.
It's a half of it.
Okay.
So, yeah. So you,
Oh,
So yeah, so let's just talk about
There's
what
50
the names mean
Okay.
first of all, and what is 100K friends? What does that stand for? And so the 100K friends is about getting. And I know a lot of people, they're so small-minded that they're like, oh man, like I'm not small-minded. If Bill Gates can do it, I think I can do it.
Amen.
Which is just a mindset that I have. It's not a cocky mindset. It's
he's
just
just an average guy.
I try to be confident. Yes. So the 100K friends is about getting 100,000 people eventually just paying $10 a month. And that's $1 million a month. And where that money will go is on the website. It spells it out. It will go to private investigators to investigate politicians, to investigate the food company CEO, to investigate Herman down the street that hurt one of our donors. It could be about investigating anybody we need to investigate. It's about making sure we have money going into lawyers to sue the water company that's not filtering out our water.
RFK might want to get in on that.
Exactly.
I mean, already smashing out the red 40.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
Is it anywhere? I mean, is this a location based? Like, is there a region or
well,
is this?
100K Friends is started in Oklahoma, and I wanted to make 100K Friends Oklahoma, 100K Friends Texas, 100K Friends Colorado, and I had people even interested, and we even had some guys going to donate $1,000 a month. It's a tax write-off, so if you guys want to check out 100kfriends.com, you'll go there and you'll see where all the money's supposed to, that's where it's going to go once it gets to that mark. Right now, it's just going wherever we can, go with that's, it says on there where the money has to go. And by law, unfortunately, if you have a nonprofit, the money that you receive, only 10% of it has to go to what you said it was going to go towards, which
I didn't know that.
in my
Yeah.
mind is BS, because all the
What?
money needs to go where you said it was going to go.
10%?
Yeah, only 10% has to go to where you said it was going to go.
That's why there's so many nonprofits
Yeah.
out there. It's a
And-
good write off, huge write off too.
And my money is the money that's been donated to the 100K Friends. I've already used my money to do what I'm doing with a lot of 100K Friends, so I'm not too worried about putting the money where it's not supposed to go at all. But like I said, the 100,000 people, and let me tell you where I got this concept at. All right, so I used to own a couple of gyms, and I'm charging $35 a month, $50 a month for this gym package. And I'm like, how in the world is another Planet Fitness popping up, charging $10 a month? Like, I can't even
Because
afford
everybody
this.
has a membership, but nobody wants to take the time to cancel because it's $10.
Yeah, it's nothing.
So what I did, Tiny's onto something there. What I did was I ended up calling this dude that worked for Planet Fitness, and I was like, let me hire you. I'll pay you more. And he's like, okay. And he was a manager for Planet Fitness. As soon as he got over to my place, how are y'all afford $10 a month? That was the first question I had for this dude. And he's like, all right, let me tell you. He's like, Planet Fitness's model is they don't want you to use the gym. And I was like, okay, I'm with you so far.
Yeah.
He's like, they target the people that don't want to work out, but they will get a gym membership because there's pizza there and because it's so comfortable and because
Is
of all
that
this
why
other
they
stuff.
serve pizza?
You can check in the parking lot like tricep day and then just bounce.
But they don't. But the concept was, I said, well, what's the $10 about? Well, we sign up all these people and they forget that $10 is even coming out of their
I
account.
think
Yeah.
you both are right
That's
because
right.
I had a $10 membership at the YMCA for 3 years and I never went one time.
Right.
Because
Literally, it came out
and
of my
you didn't
account
cancel.
No, I was just
But
like,
you probably would
I'll
have
do it
canceled.
tomorrow.
But you probably would have canceled if it had been $50 a
Yeah.
month.
Or
I
20.
did when it
Yeah.
did.
I mean,
Finally,
even
it went up
20 is
one day
gonna
to
be
$50.
annoying.
I was like, oh my God, it's 50. Yeah. And then I canceled it. But they went on for like 3 or 4 years. And I just kept doing I never showed up one time.
So he comes over, and he says he worked for the Tulsa area or the Planet Fitnesses, and I said, well, how many members do they got signed up? And he said, we got 22,000 members paying $10 a month.
God, wow.
I said, so you're bringing in $220,000 a
Here,
month?
and just in Tulsa.
But they have like 8 locations now, or 6 or something. I don't remember what it was.
There's
But
like 4 people in there at a time.
Yeah.
You know?
because and he said, so what you got to look at though, that you're targeting people that don't use your gym, so they're not using the toilet paper.
So
they're not using all the facilities. They're not using all the all the
Yeah.
things that cost you.
So really,
That's
they're
the
kind
model.
of smart.
Yeah, real smart.
smart.
Oh, yeah,
But
that's smart.
but
really
I don't
smart.
condone that behavior when you're trying to get people healthy, but you're
Well,
really not.
Yeah. Or
It is a trip that they bring pizza and donuts in there.
They
is.
do?
Yeah.
That's
Literally,
disgusting.
Yeah.
they
You work it
literally
out and-
have pizza
Ew.
and donuts in there.
That don't even, yeah.
So yeah, guys, and let's talk about this. The podcast isn't that bad, is it?
It isn't.
no,
You guys
no,
are
no.
doing good, really.
You guys are doing great.
Yeah.
You're if it wasn't for you,
Oh no.
we would have.
Dude.
No, listen. I
create a
just got
little
you guys
cluster
started.
over
You
here.
guys have been doing all the work. I just
Dude.
got you started.
And you're awesome. I mean, you're awesome. You definitely need
You're
to be
amazing.
on the podcast from now on.
Well, tell me more. Hey, put the camera shot on me and let me listen.
Let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So okay, so that's 100K. So 50.
Okay, so let's talk about the 50 Friends and where it got messed up, so we can just put that all out there right now. So, the 50 Friends, I started the 100K Friends. I even got a U.S. senator on board, an Oklahoma senator, Jake Merrick. Awesome. I was so freaking pumped. He was going to be the
100K?
president. Yep.
Cool.
He was the president. I made him the president of 100K Friends. And, like I said, this ain't about talking about everybody, because I'm sure people could talk about me all night. But I got this senator on board, and I was so excited. And then I realized that politicians are really just about having meetings, and there's not a lot of follow through afterwards. And I'm not saying, I guess I am saying.
Yep.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I felt
But-
that.
But anyway, that's where I was. So I kind of canceled that. I had some other battles to deal with. But the 50 Friends was about, the 100K Friends was the nonprofit version, about fighting corruption, about exposing corruption, about cleaning up the water supply, cleaning up the food supply. And real quickly, all Bristow has to do is raise the taxes on the fast food restaurants and have some of that money to help clean up the place and drive those fast food restaurants out and lower the taxes on the organic farmers that want to start organic restaurants in town. That's one way we can start cleaning up. But let's get back to the question. The 50 Friends was about getting 50 people together, okay? And a lot of people can't comprehend this. And what I've noticed was all my wealthy buddies wanted in on the 50 Friends right off the bat, right when I told them. Even Sean Copeland was all about it. His wealthy buddies wanted in on it. And I was like, well, I didn't start the 50 Friends to have all you guys get wealthy. Let me tell you where that idea came from. It was during COVID, right when COVID happened. I was about to lose everything. All my friends were losing everything.
Yeah.
I had more money than some of my friends. And I had friends wanting to borrow money and all this. And I'm like, how can I help everybody out and not go broke? So I had this idea. I was sitting in the back of the warehouse on the cement, taking a break and just like looking at the sky, kind of like, man. And I said, all right, if I get 50 of my friends to donate or give me $1,000, I'll take that $50,000 and I'll start us all a business, and I'll start importing some things from overseas how I do, and we'll start selling them together. All 50 of us. And that'll be 50 people sharing my posts. That'll be 50 people talking about our business, 50 people talking about what we got for sale. So I was like, this is a brilliant idea. So I took out my phone while I was sitting there and I posted on Facebook. I was like, hey, 50 people will buy. That evening, I had 72 people trying to give me $1,000.
Wow.
And I was like, I got $72,000 if I want it. Well, I didn't want it because I wasn't ready. That was just kind of a brainstorming thing. So
You just needed funding to start an idea and a concept.
Well, it wasn't that I needed it. I had my own thing going on. It was that I was trying to figure out what I could do to help people out, like help us all out, get us all together.
Gotcha.
So the next meeting with Sean Copeland, I used to meet with him every Monday for an hour. The next meeting with Sean Copeland I went to, I had it all typed up and ready to go. And I thought, I'm just going to run this by him real quick, and then we'll get back to talking about what we're talking about, see if he thinks it's a good idea. I slide this paper over to Sean. I tell him about the idea, 50 people, we start this business. We start another one. We just keep opening these businesses where I might import headphones like these and sell them, pop up a website, import some headphones. We're selling headphones. I might import some shoes the next month, and now we're selling shoes. We could do this with 50 people. Every time we come up with a business idea.
they're investing $1,000,
It's like an investment group.
in whatever.
and you pick
Yeah.
what they're
Yeah.
what.
Well, we
we're
vote
gonna
on it.
sell. Oh, okay.
Yeah, we
okay.
had a website built and everything where you can go on
Yeah.
there and vote.
So
on
where
the
did this
business
where did
idea.
this go wrong? Because I'm intrigued.
Man, it was awesome.
Me too.
Me
Yeah.
too.
So I reel it back, and I'm like, Sean was all about it. He was wanting in on it, and and then like I said, I kind of found some things that they were doing that I wasn't happy with, so I kind of drifted off from that group.
It wasn't child trafficking, was it?
I'm
Oh.
not going to go there,
Oh,
but not.
okay, next subject.
So anyway, I go back and I start trying to get my poorer friends, my less than wealthy friends involved, so we could all make money together. What I noticed is, first of all, what you're going to get from poor people is they don't like partners. All my wealthy people wanted more partners, and I know why now, because now I want more partners. I'm trying to get as many partners as I can, but you got to make sure they're the right partners. I watched Tiny build a business. I know he's the right partner. I know his background. I know how he is. Anyway, you want to make sure they're the right partners, but I love partners. You can do more if you got partners. So where it went wrong was I started bringing in these people that weren't so wealthy, that were they have to know where their dollar goes. They're
Yeah,
they're
they
going to
need
Yeah, they're clinging to
Yes.
it.
they're going to be
Yeah.
clinging to their.
or the idea.
I gave you $1 last week. Where's it
Where's
at?
that at?
Yeah.
Where are we at
Yeah.
with it?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's where we ended up, but what happened was I had some people working for me. I had one gentleman working for me. His girlfriend, they weren't girlfriend and boyfriend when this happened, when it started. I bring in another female that I'm friends with. I'm not going to mention any of these people's names. I bring in another female that I've been friends with for 20 years probably, one of my best female friends. I bring her in. She goes out and gets all these investors and brings them in. That was kind of a mistake for me not to go out and get some of my own and bring them in. So I bring them in all in the 50 friends, and then her boyfriend, she becomes a boyfriend with one of my employees. He's not doing the job I need him to do. He doesn't want to work late. We're getting all these investments. He's just, and I was like, well, you can't be in the COO position if we're getting all these investments. I need my COO to have my back and make sure things are getting done. If they're not getting done, you're going to have to work late. That's just how it is. He wasn't down for that, so I told him to pick another position in the company. You can do the CFO, you can do this, you can do that. We got all these people donating or investing now. We got to get busy. He wasn't having it. So he sends me a text, and he kind of prefaced it so he could file unemployment. But I didn't fire him. I offered him another position. So you're not.
Demoted him, right? A little bit.
Yeah, well, I was going to give him another position. When you do that, you're not supposed to be able to file unemployment.
Yeah.
If you're offered another position, you didn't get fired.
Mm.
So he goes and files unemployment on me. I tell the unemployment office what really happened. Well, my friend, which is now his girlfriend, and is one of the investors and brought all these other investors in, lies about it and says, no, we didn't offer him another position. So I got it on text message, and I texted her and I asked her, I said, you told me you were going to offer him another position. She said, well, I tried, but he wasn't interested, so I didn't offer it to him.
It was COO or bust. Huh?
Well, did you hear what I just said, though?
Yeah,
She said, I tried to offer him a position, but he wasn't interested, so I didn't offer it to him. I was like, well, you did offer it to him
it's
then.
still an
He
offer.
wasn't interested.
Yeah,
He
you
wasn't
offered.
interested.
Yeah.
So she proved my point. So I'm thinking, well, we've got all the evidence I need. So I send that to unemployment. Unemployment still sided with him. And she told me to pay the dude $2,000 because it's her boyfriend. It ain't a big deal. It just bring it out of the company. So she wanted me to take $2,000 and pay her boyfriend out of the investment that we've got from all these people.
boy.
And I said no. So when I told her she couldn't be a part of it, she goes and has secret meetings with all the investors, and it just crumbled the 50 friends where it was. So now I'm hiring a lawyer, getting it all cleaned up, but we're going to revive the 50 friends, and this time I'm going to be a little more careful about how I go about it.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, Justin and Tiny and Summer, listen, I being in business as long as I have, I've quickly learned, and it probably took me 8 or 9 years, but everybody thinks the life of an entrepreneur or an innovator is really easy. They see you on planes, they see you on the beach, they see you at the resorts, or speaking on stage, or going to a nice breakfast or whatever.
Yeah.
But they don't understand the mental Olympics that you have to do to fund a business, to operate a business, to pay labor for a business. Your friends sometimes are your worst enemies in business.
That's
It's
right.
usually the strangers
100%.
that support you the most.
That's right.
I mean, it's a shit show being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, no, you couldn't have said that any better. I used to own a gym. This is when I first, kind of leading off of what you said about your friends can be some of the problems. I used to have a gym, and my membership was $30 a month. And I think I had like 300, 270, 300-ish gym members. And I was looking at the financials in it, and I just couldn't figure out where the issue lied. But where it was, everybody that I was friends with, which was basically everyone that went to the gym, they all approached me with the same thing. This was 15 years ago or so. I would by no means react the same way now that I did then, but they would all say they would come in and they would be like, "Hey, can I pay you $6 this week?" And then maybe 18.
Mm-hmm. They want
And I'd be like, "Yeah, man, don't worry about it." And then they'd come to me a couple weeks later and be like, "Hey, dude, I'm not going to be able to make the payment this month." And I'd be like, "Don't worry about it." And this was what seemed like a $6 issue actually turned out to be a back-breaking issue.
Yeah.
And half of my members either weren't paying because I was just like, "Hey, man, don't even worry about it. It's $30. Don't worry about it, I guess."
Yep.
And then I look around and I've got 300 members-ish, and 100 of them were actually paying.
That's another problem with having so many friends.
And then that's right. Yeah, friends.
Nice.
Your friends are the ones that don't
And then
support you.
we were you'd look on camera the next morning because things would be, you'd come back the next morning and everything would be a mess, and you'd look on camera and one of your good buddies would use his key fob and he'd come in and he'd have 7 friends with him,
Taking advantage.
which should be $10 a day for the 1-day pass, but of course
Don't worry, my buddy owns this.
but 100%. Oh yeah, he's a friend of mine, man. Don't even worry about it. He's cool. Yeah, he's cool. So it closed.
He could whoop all of us
at
the same time.
Yeah.
But he's cool.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
I got him.
But you're right. People I didn't know that I'd never met in my entire life, it was never a question.
Nope.
They would come in, they'd pay their membership, they'd go to work.
It's a transaction for them, and
Yeah,
and for our
that's right.
friends, they tend to take advantage. I almost made a whole thing about not doing business for friends, and then there's the whole hey, can I take you to lunch and pick your brain? No. I'm $250 an hour.
Yeah,
Lunch
right.
ain't cutting
That's
it.
right.
When I did
Exactly
hair,
right.
when I did hair, I had friends I'll trade you. I'm like, no, I need money to pay my bills, or they would, same thing.
Yeah.
They want you to
trade
do their
you.
hair. It's not that big
I'll
of a
pay
deal.
you later, and then you're feeling weird asking your friend for
Yeah.
the money they owe you after.
Well,
doing
they
hair.
don't
I gotta
understand that.
silence this little machine here.
They don't understand that you have.
This is my business.
That-
Just like they go to work, and this is how I
Yes.
make my money.
Well, then
But
also every
on.
one of your other friends, everybody has hair except me, but everybody needs their hair done.
Yeah.
So you have to
Then
be
you-
careful about that. If you give one person a free haircut, well, now
Yes.
hey, Susie got a free haircut,
That's
you know?
right.
And then
And that's what's sad about the world is they'll go buy the new Beyonce album and won't ask for a discount, but they're
Yeah.
not going to freaking ask you. They're going to ask you for a discount.
I know.
You almost got me off on the on the country music artist of the year.
How
What's
about
her-
Yeah.
that? How about that?
I
What
heard
is
about it.
going on?
Who is it?
Beyonce. I think, wasn't it?
Beyonce.
Oh.
Country music. She is so country.
Well, maybe
I mean, when I think of an
Post
authentic
Malone.
cowgirl,
I love him.
yeah,
talking
I like
about
him
Well,
country.
he
better.
wasn't. He
is
wasn't up.
country now.
Oh.
he
but-
is.
Yeah.
He's super country too.
He's so
Let's-
country.
let's
He's
talk
better,
about-
He's better country than he was.
Was anything
whatever
else?
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about music real quick then. Let's talk about
love
music real quick.
Love it.
So let's talk about music.
Let's talk about
Love
it.
it.
So
You gonna sing?
I mean,
I'm
I'm not a
gonna
good singer, but
do a little rap real quick.
Oh
Oh
shit!
my god!
I'm just-
I was like, I'm ready
get
for
me
this.
outta
I
here.
almost turned my head.
I know, I was like, oh, God,
let's
please
go. This is
That would be. I sound like a fat kid when I used to play video games back in the day.
Actually,
Everybody'd be like, "Go eat another graham cracker." I'm like, "How much you think I weigh?" You're like, "You're fat. I can tell by your voice."
you know what I think? I think
Bad
you should
boys.
actually do a rap and open the show with a new 15-second rap every time,
100%.
just to do it.
Who let the dogs out?
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
yeah. We'll
All right.
put
Our
one
company's
together.
dog. Well, let's talk about music real quick because I think I have a valid point of this, and hear me out. It's because the way I was raised, and then a lot of other people that try to talk to me about this, I can't really listen to them because they weren't raised that way, so they don't have a valid opinion.
I'm
because
not
they
trying
were
to be
raised-
rude. I just got
Ooh.
to sling a text.
Oh, I've been doing the same thing.
Okay, cool.
So
My phone's off.
phone check time, everybody.
Yes.
So, and Tiny, I do want your opinion on this.
I'll give it to you.
I do definitely want your opinion on this, and I want. Sorry. So, music. Let's talk about music. Okay. So, I grew up Pentecostal, right? I grew up Pentecostal, and that's one of the other reasons 100K Friends means so much to me, because in the Pentecostal church, everybody felt like they were your family. And like if your roof blew off and you came to church and the other people in the church knew that your roof blew off, well, probably 10 men from the church were going to be over
Like
your
the
house
Amish.
fixing that thing that weekend.
Yeah, they
So I
kill it.
miss that. I miss that camaraderie. I miss that family like type thing. And then you get out here and you try to, Anyway,
And it was authentic.
authentic.
Yeah,
Very
that
authentic.
is that's.
Well, I mean,
that's
it's Pentecostal
extre-
people are. If you live the way the Pentecostal live, you have to be authentic.
Okay.
We didn't grow up with the TV.
Yeah.
So music.
deal.
Let's talk about music and the TV. This is the same thing. We did not lie in our house. My dad never said a cuss word. My dad never lied. He never lied to us about Santa Claus. He never started any kind of lies with us. He told us the truth about everything.
You didn't believe that there wasn't a Santa Claus?
So when I was a kid, I thought.
You were 3, and you was like, "There's no Santa."
No, I
Yeah,
thought.
like-
You know what I thought when I went to school, and I would tell the other kids, "Well, there's not a Santa," and they're like, "Yes, there is. My mom and dad told me there was," and I would secretly be like, "Your mom and dad lie to you. Mine doesn't." And I respected my parents more and I thought that my parents were treating me like an adult because they were telling me the truth, and all these other kids are getting fooled. I felt like something, I felt like my parents really cared, and I was like, their parents don't care. They're lying to them already. Well, the thing that does to you as a kid is when you find out Santa's not real, you automatically, oh, my parents lie. Like, all right, your parents are liars. So that's one thing you did. I never got that. My parents never, my dad never lied to me. So now let's get back to the music thing. This all correlates. This all correlates.
Okay.
It all
Going to
correlates.
Christmas music.
It all correlates. So my dad wouldn't let us listen to anything but upbeat Christian music. All
Okay.
positive Christian music. Oh,
All right.
when I got out here and started listening to country music, I was disgusted because all they talked about and all my buddies that listen to country music, guess what they did? All my high school buddies that listened to country music were backroading and drinking. That's all they did. And they had that country music popping, and they were
'Cause you're
cheating on
from
their girls.
Muskogee.
They were cheating on
You're
those
from-
girls. They were
We
cheating on the
close to
girls.
Memorial.
They were cheating on
Yeah.
those girls because guess what?
You were dirt
Guess
road.
what? But guess what? You were listening to when you're listening to a lot of country music. You're listening to some grown man talk about his problems with a woman, and talking about his
I
problems that he
listened
lost
to
his dog,
hip-hop, rap.
and talking about all these problems. So I realized that a lot of my friends that were listening to that kind of music had those problems, and then I also realized that when I started listening to rap music, I had gangster rap problems. I was hanging out in the hood of
Well,
Muskogee.
I love Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera.
Did you have any of those problems?
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
shaving your head? And
I'm just kidding. But I just like all music.
Well, just this, hear me out, is what you put in your brain is what's going to come out the other end, plus the subconsciousness of accepting people being like that. And so when I grew up, I got an anger issue. I started having anger issues when I was like 17, 18. And it's because, my dad sheltered me from this world where I started getting out into the world and everybody started lying to me. They started trying to tell me
Yeah.
what I want to hear. They started doing all this and trying to appease me because I took martial arts, and some of them were scared of me and some of them were this or that, or they wanted whatever. And I'm thinking, but then I started getting really angry with him. And then I started watching all these sitcoms on TV and realizing that everybody's laughing at lies all the time. And I'm sitting there like, oh, they lied to that person. And everybody's, oh, that's funny. He lied to him. They made it
But
funny to
Seinfeld
lie.
actually was approved by God himself. So that one is innocent.
So that's just kind of where I got the outlook on, people, because I was always upbeat. Everybody wanted to hang out with me. I always had this energy about me. Everybody's like, let's hang out with Justin. But that was because I was feeding my brain with upbeat things my whole life, my whole childhood.
I do think that's a thing, though. I think that's a thing.
No, yeah, for sure. I mean, there's definitely an influential factor to music. I mean, that's why I used to work security at a drug and alcohol rehabilitation center, and the very first thing they do is they don't allow music because there's such an emotional tie to
Yep.
music.
Dang, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I mean, about them not allowing music.
Yeah, it's loaded with triggers and memories.
Yeah, I
and
know that,
Yeah,
but-
yeah. So yeah, that's why they cut it off.
That's
right off the bat.
interesting.
Yeah. Once they it was no go. But they did have like acoustic type music or whatever it's called when there's no words.
Praise and
Instrumentals?
worship.
No,
Worship
not praise
uses
and
it.
worship.
Yeah,
But
you got it.
They use the
Acoustic.
acoustic guitar.
Instrumentals.
Yeah.
yeah, there was that stuff. So but I think I just said it. But video games. I remember when Grand Theft Auto was all over the news because you could like run over hookers
Yeah,
and
it's like a-
like beat up the police and there were some kids that got in trouble for doing similar things that they saw on the game. But I mean, I was always, when it was a video game, I was more of like a, like kill the dragon, save the princess type of thing. And since
And
there
I was
are
going
no
to the
dragons,
Hanson concert.
I couldn't really
Hanson Brothers.
mimic what I saw in the game.
Literally.
Can I say something though? Can I flip the script on the Santa Claus thing? Like I'm glad my parents lied to me.
Me too, because it takes away your childhood.
Well, yeah, and it was such a magical story, and I'll
Right,
never be able to mimic
best
those
memories.
those nights of going to
I
bed
have a
just.
10-year-old kid, and I would
Yes.
never do that to her.
And I think I turned out like a pretty joyful, happy guy, and I'm glad they lied to me, those sons of bitches.
I'm with you
Yeah,
on that.
bastards.
I'm with you on that.
Well, I think.
I mean, I
Wait,
start
a
listening to
child-
Christmas music in like October.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, obviously, when she's, 17, she's not going to think it's Santa, but when she's little, that's like
It
the
could still
fun.
be Santa.
I mean, maybe so.
Well, I
but-
mean, if you want to flip the script even further, then I felt like I respected my parents more than my friends down the street that Santa delivered their presents when I knew my dad worked his rear end off, and I appreciated my presents a little bit more because my dad actually took me to work with him all the time, and they bought those presents, and they didn't lie to me about some Santa dropping it down the chimney. So I feel like that, from my household and my experience that I had, there's no way I would have wanted my dad to lie. Looking back, I don't care about no magical stories or nothing. I feel like that we had a lot of love in our household, and we.
Did you guys put up Christmas lights and do the whole thing?
No.
Elf on the shelf?
He
Now
let
that's a
my
thing.
mom. He let my mom wrap the presents, for a period there a little bit. But a lot of times we didn't really do the big celebration of Christmas. We would exchange some presents and stuff for the kids.
But it sounds
That
like you have a
was a
really
deal.
fond memory of your
Yeah.
childhood and your parents, and
Yeah.
if that's your story
Yeah,
and that's
then
your
that-
thing, you have
for
no,
sure.
you don't have to apologize for that.
I
shit.
just feel like if America and just people in general, because if you go to some other countries, they don't lie to their kids about
Yeah.
Christmas and all this
Yeah.
other stuff. America does that, and America's got a lot of problems we're dealing with. I feel like if people just wouldn't lie, we wouldn't have. I mean, you can't trust nobody. I don't trust hardly anybody.
Yeah.
Like nobody, and that stems from the Christmas story. And people says it don't. That's the first lie you got told, and I promise you, subconsciously, it's okay to lie. That's what everybody tells me. It's okay to lie as long as it's good, as long as it's
As long
in
as
a
it'll
good.
fit
in
in
the
a little
real-
box,
They said somebody told me one time, well, it's okay to lie because you're giving the kid a joyful experience,
What's
and I'll
the
be like,
real
well, I'll do
meaning
that next time
of
because
Christmas?
like if I so say if it's a woman, well, I cheated on you and I didn't want to upset your day, I just lied to you about it. I wanted you to have a good day. It's all about you. That's why I lied to you. That's kind of what a lot of people switch it to is like, if you're lying for a good reason and it does good, then you're okay. Like that's the justification behind a lot of lies.
Right. No, I get that. But
I feel like we need a psychiatrist on the next podcast just to
Yeah.
just to get through some of
chime
these
in.
feelings.
What do you think?
There's a therapist like 2 doors down. I'll bring her in.
And so, Justin, you grew up in a Pentecostal house, and they were telling you that Jesus was the Son of God, and obviously he was and then. Are you your microphone was
Yeah,
too
get
far
your
forward.
microphone to
Yeah.
your mouth.
Sorry.
So how did you feel about that? Because I know that you're not a practicing Christian. Did you feel like they were lying to you?
I felt like the Santa Claus, and I hate to get into this part, and Tiny's dragging me in there.
Hey, and just FYI, guys, we only have like 3 to 5. Ben, it's what are you at? About 58 minutes? Yeah, about 3 to 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, all
Yeah.
right. So real quick,
I was just curious.
I felt like
I-
the Santa. No,
glad
and
you
I
said
like
that.
I like it that you asked that. So I felt like the Santa Claus story made it easier for Israel to make everybody believe their God story. Now we don't have to get too far into this because I believe I got away from believing in God a long time ago. I felt like the term God in the definitionary or the dictionary, if you look it up, it
should be called a definitionary.
it kind of reminds me of what guys want. They want to be worshipped. They want this. So it feels like God was made in a man's image, and God keeps a lot of men. Like a lot of men I talk to about fighting corruption. Let's let God handle it. If I was China or if I was the Rothschilds and I owned the banking systems and everything, I would present everybody with a God that handles everything corrupt while I'm doing the corrupt stuff.
Yeah, God would still want you to wear your seatbelt, though. You know what I mean? Like,
So I feel like there is a creator. I mean, we don't have to. I'm not saying people don't need to believe in something.
Okay,
there could be
we
a
got
creator.
you. So you're in the middle.
But does it have to be a God?
And
and
I'm
if
a strong Christian.
no, and if I
100%.
created. If I was the God of the Bible and I could do anything and I could keep these babies from getting trafficked and I could do this and I could do that, but I choose not to, I just wouldn't worship that God anyway. I wouldn't like that God. I mean, me and him wouldn't get along.
Hey, Justin, I think there's a group out there called the Possibilityans, and their whole belief system is based on they think there's a possibility that there's a big universal God. They think there's a possibility that there's a Buddha. They think there's a possibility that there's a Jesus. They think there's a possibility that there's no God. Like there's and I think you mimic a lot of these traits that they talk about.
Yeah.
They're open-minded to the possibility that anything could be there, and I really think that's kind of what just a little bit that we've been talking is probably where you are is there's no proof, so to speak, as far as today proof that any of these theories or religions are real. There's just tradition and rituals and historic and relevant information that we read about and learn about.
Yep.
But there's a real possibility, all of it's shit. And there's also a real possibility that a lot of it's real.
Yep.
There's
That's
a possibility
That's
on
right.
both sides.
Yep.
And
And
I think we have to be open to that.
And to speak to that, you know what I tell people about that? That's why I don't waste my time trying to figure it out, because I know what I can do right now is I can address these corrupt men
Yeah.
because I train every day and I eat right, so I have a lot of energy to do it. And I look at what I can do and what I can have. I don't give a crap whether the earth is flat, round. I don't care if it spins at 90 miles an hour. I'll talk to somebody about it for about 5 minutes, then I'm done.
Dang, that flat Earth concept is something we need to dive
I think that's a
into.
whole nother podcast.
Oh my God, I would love to open that one up.
people definitely get into that. But
Yeah, but you can't see Polaris from the southern hemisphere due to the curvature, so you can't. You can
well,
see
and
it
it's
from
like
the northern hemisphere.
I mean, there's some theories on it. They say, well, the plane flies at a level, and I told people, well, if you wanted an argument, because I can argue all day long, if you want an argument that it's round, well, the magnetic pull keeps the plane at the same spot when it's going around, so
Wait,
the
so you
magnetic
think
pull is
the
going to be the
world is
same.
flat?
No, I don't really
Oh.
care.
It's like,
But
oh.
I think if it is round, I have an argument for being round. They say, well, the plane flies flat.
There's a lot of those.
Well, the magnetic pull is going to be the same if it's going around, or if it's going flat, it wouldn't be the same. So that kind of
Right.
takes away from the flat.
Yeah, but they don't believe in gravity.
Yeah.
They don't believe in gravity.
Well, see, and that's one thing. I'm not an astronaut. No, I'm not trying to be, but I do know the water's polluted. I do know the food's polluted.
That's right.
And that's what I tell people. With the God thing, my sister died. That's when I went down that whole rabbit hole, and I found out that the old Latin-speaking king was beheading everybody that would change the Bible into other languages. When they changed it to another language, they barely even had a translation for it. There was all kinds of things you can find on religion, and that's why I just don't even.
Well, and I think
And if
spend too
anybody
much
has
time on
any prayer requests,
Yeah.
I'm being 100%.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, no, for real. If anybody does have any prayer requests, by however means you want to reach out, you can just put unspoken, and I'll definitely add you to my to an ongoing prayer list and a good community of people. So.
Good for you. And I think it's a great way to end this first podcast with Just Be Talking and you, Justin, and Tiny and Summer. And I think everyone, I think what makes everyone unique is just being, open to the ideas that we really should all kind of like love and respect each other wherever we are at that moment.
Man, that's it right there.
And man, if we could just get to that theory, maybe there wouldn't be fentanyl in Bristow. Maybe we wouldn't have corruption in these small towns.
Well, hold on a second.
Yep.
There's been a lot of love going around. Love ain't going to do it. It's going to take us men, like we used to, when we were lived in villages and we seen a bunch of corrupt men coming, all the men in the village stood up and fought those men. And if we don't get back to that, we're not going to get anywhere. Love ain't going to do nothing. I know a lot of people loving and kissing, and those people are pretty
Not
miserable
changing
right
anything?
now. They're not changing
Not
nothing.
changing a damn thing.
I could take you to a hippie place right now where everybody's just lovey, lovey, lovey. And that gets annoying real quick. I don't want no more love. I want aggression.
Where's that at?
I want some aggression.
Where's that hippie
She's
place
like,
at?
drop a pin.
Tree.
Hugger.
Biden. Remember Biden. She's a Biden supporter.
No, she did whisper. She did whisper.
She did
that
Trump.
I mean, if I
Yeah.
She's Trumper. She's a Trumper.
Yeah.
I guess.
No, she don't get into it, which I respect. I respect
When
it.
I was in hair school, they told us don't talk about politics or
Yeah.
religion, and you'll be just fine. And that's, where I'm
true.
at with it. Like
That is true.
I'm not
That is true. I feel like
trying to.
I feel like though.
respect anybody's opinion, but I personally.
Oh, I'm definitely not gonna like. What does every other status say? You know, like if you don't agree with this, just unfriend me.
Yeah.
That's
Oh,
Yeah.
guy,
That's kinda
hate
goofy.
that.
Yeah, that's a little.
That's-
Yeah.
that's
no.
Well, I
Cool.
appreciate you guys coming on this podcast today,
Yeah.
and I'm hoping Tiny and Summer will be here from now on. And what we do is we plan to do this once a month at least, if not twice a month, and we're going to start having guests in to make it. You know, we'll have business people in that have been there, done that. I'd love to have Summer's dad on if we could ever get him in here. He runs a huge security company that does all kinds of things. It's freaking awesome, and I love picking people's brains like that
Yeah.
and learning from them. And then also one of our next podcasts is going to be, we're going to have Save Oklahoma Farm and Ranches. The lady that runs that and her husband, hopefully we're going to have them on here to be able to talk about some of the things they're going through. They own a pretty big farm/ranch, and they've been dealing with a lot of boo-boo coming from some senators right here in Oklahoma. So anyway, I know we got to cut this off and get out of here, but I really appreciate all you guys and you.
Barlow.
The voice.
Barlow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the golden voice.
Yeah, we had to have, our podcast guy, he had to come in and save us because
No.
we were all a little nervous about how we're going to do this.
You guys were great.
Yeah, but this was awesome. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I appreciate it.